Hello, fourth graders. You ever think you'd see me again? Mr. Del Paso coming to you, not live, on videotape, on my iPad from my basement, which is now my art room, and it's your art room too. So what we're going to do, we're going to get together. I'll put a video on the school website every couple weeks, and we'll do a little drawing together for as long as this craziness lasts. Okay. So I thought we'd start out with a nice fun cartoon drawing. We're going to do our little friend Gary, SpongeBob's Gary the Snail. I'm probably going to go a little quicker than we normally would, okay? I want to give you an hour and a half video of me drawing a snail. So I'm going to go kind of quick, but because this is a video, you can pause it and rewind it as much as you need to, okay? So you're going to need a piece of paper, you're going to need a pencil, and you'll probably need an eraser. And we'll talk more about the coloring part of it a little bit later on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase everything and we're going to do it together. I'm just going to leave that one circle because that's where we're going to start. Right? Usually we start with a shape or so, and we'll talk about that shape in a sec. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. I zoomed it out just so you could see me. But I'm going to zoom it in so that you can see the board a lot better. It's probably going to chop my head off, so you'll just be hearing this voice from beyond. But it's more important that you see the board than seeing me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom that in. And then I'm going to erase everything except the one eye. I hope you guys are doing well. These crazy times. I'm sure Mrs. Taylor and Mrs. Tanner giving you lots of fun stuff to do. Keep yourselves busy, keep your skills up, and that's kind of what we're doing too. We're going to keep our art class going even though we're not really meeting like we normally would. Okay? And, for the foreseeable future, this, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but we want to keep that right side of the brain, which is our creative side, we want to keep that flowing too. So you'd be doing your classroom work, you'd be doing your artwork, keeping up with your exercise, you'd be PE, going on Miss Raftery's wonderful website. We're going to try to keep this as normal as we can. Okay? So let's draw a snail. Whatever piece of paper you're using, whatever size it is, you're going to want to turn it horizontal, sideways, because Gary's a little bit longer than he is tall. And I would say you're going to want to start that circle, that eyeball, to the right of the center of your paper and up. Right? So there isn't too much higher than the eye, and there isn't too much to the right of the eye. So you can put that over and up right about where I have it. You can kind of see how big my piece of paper or my board is. So that's about how big you want to go. You don't want to make the eye much bigger than that because I think you'd probably run out of room. So the first thing we want to do is we want to draw an eye right next to that. And it's going to be overlapping it a little bit. We're going to try to make it sort of the same size. Right? And then Gary has a nice big iris and then a pupil. You will not be coloring in your pupil yet, but I've got a black marker, so why not? So basically we have 3 circles, big, medium, small. Boop, boop, boop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the eye stalks. Those are those big, long, blue things that connect from his eyeballs to his mouth. They kind of start out a little wider, and then they get a little thinner, and then they get a little wide again. Not a lot, but just not quite perfectly straight down. Okay? They're kind of close together. At the bottom, you can see they're a little bit further apart up there. They get a little bit close together. They don't touch at the bottom, but they kind of get close together. Okay, so now we're going to make his mouth. His mouth, he's smiling, so we've got kind of this curve right here. It's kind of like a little oval. So I'm going to do is I'm going to start right about in the middle of these two lines. I'm going to start right about in the middle there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come up and just kind of like curve around. Kind of like a letter C, kind of. And I'm going to come over on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I got a backwards letter C. And then right up here in the middle, I'm going to go from this eye and just kind of connect there. Just boom, boom, from there to there. Kind of a straight line, pretty much. And now I'm going to draw a big smiling mouth. It's kind of like a big curved hot dog. And that kind of fills up the forwards letter C and the backwards letter C. Okay. And then we've got some nice teeth. Gary's got nice straight white teeth. Whiter than mine. Oh, he looks so happy. Now Gary's got a shell, of course. He's a snail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right up here pretty close to his eye. Just to the left of that stalk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve in. Kind of come in, whoop, curve in. I'm going to go right from his mouth. I'm going to curve around. Just make a little, it's a very short little line. And then my shell will come, it will curve out. It will come swoop back in. And then a little curve right on the end. And it will touch that little wide part of his shell that connects to his mouth right there. Okay. Now I'm going to come up. I'm going to kind of imagine where the shell would be if it was behind his eye. It would come out right about there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up above his eye, curl around, and right when I get to the side of this, I'm going to just start to come in because it's a lot smaller at the bottom than it is at the top. So you can lightly sketch this in several lines if you want, or you can just do one big swooping line, but if you do that, you're going to want to draw lightly. Draw lightly. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Around, and right about when I turn that corner, I'm going to start coming in. And I'm going to stop right about when I get to, I would say maybe like the curve of his mouth. Right about there, if I come across, I would say right about where the mouth is kind of where you're going to want to stop. And you can see it's much wider here, and then it just goes in on both sides. Okay? So then what I'm going to do over here, sort of the same thing we did right here. I'm going to start up a little bit higher. And I'm going to swoop around and come in. And I'm going to go from here. I'm going to connect it to that side. But his snail goes down a little, his shell goes down a little bit in the middle, and then it kind of comes up and touches right there in the middle, right? So curve around, go down a little bit, and when you get to the middle, you're going to slowly start to come back uphill, and that should be pretty much where the side of his mouth is, his cheek, I guess, if you want to call it. Okay. And then, of course, we've got the bottom of him. He's kind of, snails are slimy. They leave like a little slime trail everywhere they go, and Gary does too. So we're going to draw like a little bit, they draw it a little bit wiggly, just to kind of give it that slimy look, I guess you could say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right over here, right on that little bump we just made. And I'm going to curl out and curl around. That's the widest part of him. And I'm going to hop right over here before I make this line down here. I'm going to hop over to the other side of his mouth. And I'm just going to draw a little short line that kind of flares out to the right a little bit. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to curl around. And we're going to connect those two. I'm going to connect those two lines right there. Just kind of wiggling up and down. And then he's kind of two-tone. He's blue on top, and the slimy part is green on the bottom. So we have to do another wiggly line. And that's going to go pretty much just above this little curve. Kind of splits it. I think that the green, the bottom part, is a little bit smaller than up here. And then we'll just keep going across. So we just kind of have a slimy light lime green, and then the blue up here. And then we just have the pattern on his shell. This can be a little tricky because it's kind of a curve, a spiral kind of, but it's a double line. It's two lines, so it can be a little tricky. So go slowly. I'm going to start right about in the middle of that shell. Right about the middle. If you want, you can kind of do this. We can make both lines go together. So the bottom is going to be wide, pretty wide as you can see. Okay, and then it's going to come up and around. So I'm going to stop there for now. I'm not sure if that's in the right spot or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this line here. Now, as we go, you remember when we did our snake? As we went down the snake, it went from wide to thin. We had to kind of remember that as we went. Kind of the same thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around, and it's getting a little bit thinner as we go. And that inside line, right, the one to the left, is going to come right up, boop, there. And then the second one can just continue. So it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. Mine's a little lumpy. Right? So it starts out wide, and it comes up, around, and curls in. So up, around, and just curls up once. So it's not like this big crazy spiral that goes around and around and around. It really isn't. And then we've got some spots. He's got a nice big oval blue spot up here. Right, and then we've got a little smaller one there, and they get a little bit smaller as they go around the side. And then we've got like a medium-sized one there, and then kind of like a little one there. Okay. That's it. That's it. I told you we were going fast. You didn't believe me, did you? I know. There's no possible way on the planet Earth that you're going to be able to watch this all the way through and keep up with me. There's just no way. If you can, amazing, okay? Amazing. But you're not going to. So pause it 1,000,000 times if you need to. Rewind it 800,000 times if you need to. Until you get it Gary looking the way you want Gary to look. So I'm thinking first week, you know, few minutes a day, or just do it all the way through if you really want to. And draw Gary, And then maybe the second week, maybe trace them with a marker if you have one, a black marker. Usually Gary's got some thick, bold black lines. If you don't have markers, you could use color pencils, crayons, whatever you've got. So I would say second week, color them in. You can Google Gary if you want, but pretty much he's got lime green around the outside of his eyes. He's got orange, that second ring, and of course the pupil's black. His stalks in the top part of his body are going to be kind of like a light blue. He's got beautiful white teeth. His shell is a nice light pink. This curly Q here is kind of like a brownish color, like a reddish brown. And then his spots are also blue, a little bit darker blue than the body. And then this bottom edge right here is kind of like a light, slimy lime green. Really, pretty much the same color as this outer layer of his eyes. But you can Google that. You can check that on the internet to check out the colors for him. So draw it the first week, color it the second week, and we'll do a little project together, maybe every other week. Now, when you're done with your, whenever it happens to be, whenever you happen to finish it, I want to make sure that I see it, right? This is our art room. And usually I can just kind of walk over and go, looks good. Can't do that now because I'm staring at my iPad. I can't see it. Sorry. So I want to see your artwork, right? Just like we normally would. So once you're done, I want you to take a little picture of it, send it to my email address, my school email. And if you don't know it, all lowercase, M, Del, D-E-L, P-O-Z-Z-O, M Del Pazzo, at Germantown, CSD.org. M Del Pazzo at Germantown, CSD.org. That is my school email address. I check it every single day. So I want to see how amazing your Gary turned out. So make sure that you send it to me. I want to check it out. Make sure you put your name on it just in case I don't, recognize the email address from, I'm assuming, mom and dad. So send it to me, and I promise I will get back to you, and I will send you back some good feedback, because we want to try to keep this as much give and take, even though it's a video, as we could possibly do, just like we would normally do in the art room. So you send it to me, I'll check it out. I'm sure it's going to look amazing. And then I will give you a little bit of feedback, and I'll return that email to you. So I hope to see you guys again soon, but just in case I don't, we'll do some more videos, and we'll keep going. So take care of yourself, stay safe. I hope you're having fun. I'm stuck in my house too. I'm going a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie. I'd love to get out and go to school, but right now we can't do that. So we'll do what we gotta do. Take care of yourselves, guys. I miss you. We'll see you later.